targets with me.
Oh, poor target reference point.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of What Would Phil Do, and we're talking the NRL Hunter series. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the NRL Hunter, it's a completely different series and league than the traditional NRL and the PRS, which stands for Precision Rifle Series, that I typically compete in. And it's pretty much a competition that is trying to gather or bring the practicality of long-range hunting into competitions. So essentially very different than, again, a PRS match or a regular NRL match where you show up to a stage and the range officer gives you the targets and where they're at and their distances to target. Every stage in the NRL Hunter is completely blind. So you walk up and all there is a placard that tells you what animal or shape of target that you're shooting, how many targets there are, and then you essentially get briefed on your firing positions from the RO, and you have 4 minutes to find it, range it, and shoot it, all based off of, again, the specific target engagement or order. Now, there's 3 scenarios or 3 types of engagements for the NRL Hunter, to keep it simple. So there's 1 target, 4 positions, 2 targets, 2 positions, and 4 targets in 1 position. So those are the 3 types of engagements. Now, I'm gonna walk you through essentially the very first stage that I shot in Utah of last year, and I pretty much ran this match all with a trigger cam and my little selfie stick, as you can see here. And I do that because it allows, I guess, me to bring the sport to life. I'm a big fan of the series, especially coming from my background, understanding the practical side of finding your own targets, ranging it. So there's a lot of skills that are worked here, especially, equipment management. Let's go ahead and dive into this very first stage. And as you see here, at first it was kind of a train wreck, and then I'm able to kind of recover. So I'm gonna walk you guys through and narrate what I'm doing and kind of my thought process behind each step of the way. So let's turn all my cameras on and move to essentially the observation position. So in the observation position, you've got your main stake, and then you've got a left and right lateral limit. Pretty much that just shows the shooter, hey, there's no targets to the left of this or to the right. So you want to stay within the left and right lateral limits. And it's important that you set up your observation glass right on top of the main stake, right? So I typically like to observe or glass from the high kneeling or low standing position, right? So I'll kick my tripod legs out about 2 notches, and here I'm using the Terrapin X to find. It's got really nice clear glass, and actually I was able to luckily find this target within seconds of setting up my position here. And if you, after the fact, I heard this target specifically was pretty tough, and essentially what I'm looking for is a bobcat. So it's 1 target, 4 position, that's the engagement here. So I moved to my first position, and this is where I didn't really understand the course of fire, because the RO behind it, which is Morgan King, is telling me, hey, you need to shoot from behind the firing line. So I got all discombobulated and trying to move my gear around, as you can see here. And I decided, okay, hey, I need to clear this bush. So I set up in a tripod, and I'm using essentially the tack table technique for shooting off. So I grab my rear bag and place it on top of the tack table, which is completely applicable to hunting. I actually shot my elk last year with this technique, especially if you follow me on Instagram. You saw that I shot my elk off a tack table in a rear bag at about 465 yards, which will be in a whole nother video in itself. So I turned my trigger cam on and realized that, holy crap, it all looks the same. And one thing I did not do, which I would definitely recommend, is make sure you establish a target reference point, or a good target reference point. So you see me scanning aimlessly, trying to look for that target that I've just found with my rangefinders, but I can't find it in my scope. So I say, okay, target reference point. So I go back to the aiming stakes, grab my binos out, and I reestablish where the target's at so that I can, again, positively identify good reference points to mark out and see through that. I would be able to see on that side of the lane through my scope. So I'm able to find it and zoom in here. The target's about 460 yards, and target's pretty generous. And I don't know if you can see here, but you can barely see it in the shadows of that under that tree there. So shoot from that first position. My lens turns to the GoPro, so you can see me trying to shoot off position number 2. Realize, okay, I can't shoot off there, so I decided to shoot all 4 positions from the standing position off the tripod. Don't mind the heavy breathing.
How long? 60?
And get back on target. And looking back here, I honestly probably wouldn't have shot with that wobble zone, but given the conditions, especially with me asking for time and realizing I've got less than 60 seconds left to get 3 more shots off. And again, the scoring system is dead target rule, which is if you shoot it with your first shot, you get 2 points. If you miss, you have 1 chance to follow up, where you'll get an additional point. So I'm clean so far. Get to my 4th position. Have a hard time finding it. You can see me work my magnification ring, and then find it again in the shadows and send that last one off. Recoil management is pretty good here, and I had about 15 seconds after that last shot. So a little bit stressful time, good recovery, but that is pretty much it for the stage. So after that, again, a couple of essentially talking points that I would say, big takeaways is make sure that you understand the course of fire. And I definitely have no excuse considering I'm a pretty seasoned competitor. But you know, with me volunteering to go first, especially my first stage of day, I thought I knew what was going on, but I had no idea. So thankfully I had a pretty nice RO that helped walk me through what I need to get done. And then make sure you establish good target reference points. Each scenario or each terrain is completely different. This was the 4th match that I had shot for the year, and the other 3 venues that I shot previously had just different scenery, and it was sometimes easier to find targets. I would say out of all the matches that I did shoot, this was the hardest to acquire targets, but the easiest to, once you did find targets, to engage because the targets were pretty generous. But other than that, hopefully you guys enjoyed this format. I plan to do a little bit more in the future, especially essentially stage breakdowns from all my competition videos, whether they be the NRL Hunter, PRS, Precision Rifle Series, or team events. So thanks for watching, guys. If you guys like this video, please like, share, subscribe, and you guys know the drill. Keep it facing the gun. Till next time.